insisting that she'll look back on this relationship later in life as molestation, citing the significant age gap of 19 and 13.
Okay, yeah,
she says the child has no way of properly understanding.
Yeah, no, that's f***ed up. That's f***ed up. Like, and it's just like, if a dude was 19 and he was a 13-year-old, every single one of you would be aghast. Okay, so that's f***ed up. That's just 100%. Learning about things I don't know about. The kids gonna learn about the TikToking.
You know what? There is such thing of though. Putting down people. That is too much. That is too much. But like in reality, baby, like it's not hurting me. No one groomed anyone.
So today we are going to be talking about Zoe Laverne again.
She has basically been exposed for being a predator.
She wants to say hi to her fans. Say hi to them, Zoe.
Hi guys.
People kiss. Oh no. What a big deal. But because it's Zoe Laverne, the star of TikTok, y'all are having an issue.
You guys like genuinely like do not.
Okay, so I don't know anything about this. I don't know who Zoe Laverne is. I'm not a kid. You know me. I'm old. I'm old as dust. But apparently, the biggest, if not one of the biggest stars of TikTok, like just a superstar on the TikTok platform, is also potentially a sexual abuser of children or something to that effect. That's the gist, as close as I've heard so far.
Not know your facts. Like,
I'm too old
because you like
to
listen
truly
to
understand.
YouTube videos and all these accounts, but like you don't even know what actually happened.
You know that app you downloaded as a joke last year but became addicted to over quarantine?
Yes. It's a good app. It can do no wrong.
Why?
Yeah, I hate myself too. Musical.ly was one of the biggest trash heaps the internet had to offer until merging with a questionable corporation to conceive the even more deplorable video sharing specimen we call TikTok in late 2018. With the platform—
Y'all never use TikTok? Here's what I'll say, okay? Every social media has its own thing. Twitter, everyone's really mad and just screaming and fighting each other. So if you want to fight a whole bunch of people publicly for everyone else to see, just like what in text form, it's basically having text battles. You know, have you ever broken up with someone via text or fought with someone that you're really into over text? It's that, but publicly for everyone to watch and spectate and be like, oh yeah, oh, look at them go. That's Twitter. Facebook, a whole bunch of boomers turning into QAnoners, turning into racists. That's Facebook. Reddit, a whole bunch of nerds trying to follow each other to be the one to, like, you know, whose link will rule them all kind of shit. WhatsApp's just communication. Instagram is kind of like, here's how my life is better than yours, and I know it's not supposed to be that way, but I have to show you why my life is the best life. And then everyone in turn is like, this app is really fun and happy and makes me feel good inside, even though it doesn't, and I feel really jealous and or inadequate when I see everyone else's beauty and lives and stuff like that. But no, it's all about joy. Whereas TikTok, of all of these, TikTok is unique in that there are times when TikTok actually restores some of my faith in humanity. It's true. I've seen musical collaborations on TikTok where a small little cat was drinking milk and making a sound where it's like, blam, 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 blam. And then that went around the world. And then by the end of it, there was 10 different people making an entire concert out of that cat drinking the milk sound. And I was like, that's cool. That's us using technology globally to make something artistic and creative that would not have existed without this technology connecting all of us around the world in this one moment. So that can be really cool. But TikTok, obviously, as you're about to learn, has its own problems too.
I'm currently generating enough traffic to rival the continent of Europe.
Do not call me handsome if you ain't gonna hand me some of that, but don't get down.
It's expected of the fastest growing social media site on the planet
Wow.
to control
That's
much of
all it takes,
today's
eh?
online discourse. The most popular talents often being the most talked about, which is unfortunate for them.
Tony, she was 15. Tony, she was 15. Tony, you know she was 15 because 15-year-olds look like 15-year-olds.
The controversial app has gifted fame and fortune to some of the most unfortunate and infamous personalities on the entire internet. Vanity-inspired individuals, dismally corrupted by the same power-hungry nature that pushes their careers to such impressive lengths, often find themselves in the aftermath of a rather intense fall from grace. See, it's easy for young and new-age celebrities to let their aspirations run wild without check, even if the inevitable consequences of these boundless desires prove themselves categorically career-ending in the long run. One of the most notable of these being a TikTok star by the name of Zoe Laverne.
Pedophile and that I'm a groomer and stuff. I never groom. I would never do that. I would never do anything without his consent, and we didn't do anything besides kiss.
But first, I want to thank our sponsor, the lovely people over at Hunt to Killer. Clearly, TikTok
Zoe Laverne is finally being exposed for being the predator that she is.
She's one of the biggest TikTok stars.
Basically, she's a TikTok star with 17 point something million followers. She's the most successful with me.
She's got 17.7 million. Holy shit. That's so many.
Money to me, and it's probably the same case for you as well.
Zoe Laverne is a 19-year-old social media sensation known for the irreverent TikToks she posts to an audience of 17.7 million fans, placing her amongst the top 100 most followed accounts on the platform. Actually, I took so long with this video that she's now bumped down to 101 at the time of me recording this. Damn you, Willy Wonka. But don't let that overshadow the 1.7 billion total likes she has across her entire account, not to mention the 2.8 million followers she boasts on Instagram and a subscriber base of 440K on YouTube, where she posts, not much, honestly. In fact, this entire channel only has 9 total videos. There really isn't a whole lot to say about her main YouTube content. I hacked my boyfriend's Instagram for 24 hours. Boyfriend? Oh, shit. She's got an entire separate channel along with her ex-boyfriend Cody Orlov? 1.1 mil? I wonder what kind of quality material we're missing out on over here.
I feel so old right now.
We are going to be seeing Who Knows Me Better, my mom or Zoe. Am I a virgin?
Oh, okay.
How are you gonna act like that and make another girl your laundry after 9 months, Cody?
It was Zoe.
Why don't we just go ahead and set this one aside for a second and come back to it after we discuss how Zoe got her start.
What am I learning right
one
now?
of my friends post like a Musically, and I was like wondering what it was, so I asked her, and she gave me the app, so I went to download it, and I just started posting from then.
Zoe Laverne first made her big splash as an influencer all the way back in 2016, when TikTok was more commonly known as Musically. She was just 15, a freshman in high school at the time her makeup tutorials and lip syncing videos started to gain traction. So much traction, in fact, that her parents actually pulled her out of school due to the overwhelming attention she was garnering in the hallways. It would seem drama has always remained synonymous with the name Zoe Laverne for about as far back as I can tell. But as divisive as her reputation may have been, she could always find comfort at the end of the day within her growing platform on Musically, drowning out the hatred of the world with the more positive vibes of her fandom.
Musically, I have made money on there. I've made about 30 grand, 40 grand, just by going live and talking with my supporters and them sending me gifts. I hope that I get to live in LA, that's my dream, and to be a high school graduate, obviously, and succeed in life, just always.
For someone in Zoe's position, thousands of unrelenting stans would offer comfort in the face of the negativity she had been dealing with at school, which only ushered her through more and more milestones as she began to post more frequently, gaining sponsorships from viral apps and even Nike, according to an article from a local news station. Now, I don't know about you, but that level of attention from fans, news outlets, corporations would heavily warp my own perception of self at 16 years old. I can say that I, for one, would be terrified by the prospect of—
it would warp my perception of self now. Like in my late 30s, I would be like, wait, whoa, slow down everything.
3 million stans at such a young age, and can't imagine what kind of effects that must have on somebody who can barely even drive to fucking Target with a license. Surely the sense of entitlement would be off the charts for most 16-year-olds, but not Zoe. She knows how to handle the fame and would never let something as fickle and meaningless as numbers on a screen dictate her emotions.
Like, she's so close to passing me, and everybody's reminding me that she's gonna pass me. And I just want to prove this bitch that I am better than her because I am Zoe fucking Laverne and I am literally the star of TikTok.
Maybe not. Maybe
Yikes.
it's already a natural human trait to compare yourself to others, and maybe it's completely unhealthy to give someone such an inflated sense of self-worth during such a critical stage of their development.
Yeah.
But that's just a theory. A Zoe Laverne
Like maybe there's gonna have to be analysis in the future of the potential dangers of having unbridled social media for kids, because the average age I think you can be to join a lot of social media platforms is 13, right? So yeah, Scratchly, thank you for the prime.
Theory.
You're gonna defend a fucking stinky ass whore. Don't
I feel bad for her if she wasn't doing bad things like grooming minors. Well, we don't know the story yet, but that is the headline. It does sound super yikesy.
bring me in the car. I'm not gonna sit in there and act like
I'm gonna have to put on a content warning soon.
Charli D'Amelio is a 16-year-old TikToker with over 100 million followers. But it wasn't until March of 2020 when she officially surged to the top of the charts, surpassing massive influencers like Lauren Gray and Zoe Laverne along the way. And if you ever thought this achievement was reason to celebrate, Zoe would disagree. Here she is mourning her relevancy now that Charli D'Amelio is on the verge of taking over the throne.
I am literally the star of TikTok. He's putting me down and boosting her up, and I'm about to go to TikTok headquarters and strangle their necks.
Sorry, what was the last part? I mean, it's just sad and petty to the point where they even unfollowed each other.
My boy is 3 and I think about this. Yeah, watching this right now is one of those things where I'm like, damn, this would be very scary to be a parent and have this just be a thing. Not just even the fact that all these TikTok stars have to deal with what it, like, trust me, this is someone who has a very large Twitter account. It's fucked up sometimes to click on notifications, but I'm an adult, right? So like, it's just seeing strangers, like, a lot now I've gotten really good at just being like, okay, fine, yeah, white noise, most of you, right? There is the odd one that just slips through the cracks sometimes. If I was 16 and I had millions and millions of people commenting on me, not to mention if you're a woman online, the amount of gross shit that you're gonna have sent your way constantly, like, as a parent, I'd be like, whoa. I don't want you to be involved in any of this. And then they're like, well, if I can't have my TikTok, then I'll be a social pariah. And it's like, oh God, it's just fucked up out there, you know?
In the wake of that video being leaked, with thousands of outsiders weighing in on the spiteful entitlement being exhibited by Zoe in that one clip.
I sent her multiple paragraphs after paragraphs, apologizing to her and telling her that I'm sorry and that I didn't mean what I said and that I was just mad, and I let all of my anger and emotions get the best of me. And I was left on scene.
But how did it even leak in the first place? Well, see, Zoe had just gone through a massive breakup with her ex, Cody, who alleged that she was attempting to derail his career in the wake of their split, citing this clip of her sobbing about Charli D'Amelio as indicative of the more deeply rooted insecurities Zoe possessed. And maybe it was. I mean, this was a pretty pathetic display, I think we can all agree. But Zoe has always been more on the dramatic side,
yeah,
being slammed.
But of a 16-year-old. I mean, it really tracks if you're like, but the person in question is 16. We're like, oh yeah, okay, fine.
And practically every other week over a new controversy. Not like that hasn't helped her grow a brand, of course. In fact, over the span of her entire career,
like,
you'll
I would
notice
say
her
behaving
follower
like a
count
teenager.
steadily increasing,
I expect a
despite
teenager
everything she's been
to behave in that
criticized
situation.
Yes, even kissing a 13-year-old boy.
They wouldn't do anything to ever without consent. Her and I both consented to kissing.
But hey, she doesn't deserve the hate, guys. It's not nice to put people down over catching feelings for a kid in middle school.
There's too much hate in the world. We need to start loving people and treating people with, respect.
You leaked numbers, therefore they can leak anything they want on their account. Girl, go play with Barbies. Go watch Disney. Personal life and numbers aren't the same thing.
Whoa, is that
stupid.
Deaf Noodles? Oh, back when Deaf Noodles existed.
Allie, can I just say your name?
But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We still got a lot of ground to cover before we get into all that. To understand Zoe Laverne, you have to understand her relationship with fellow Musical.ly star and ex-boyfriend Cody Orlov.
It's Cody Orlov back today with another YouTube video, and today we have Zoe Laverne back again on my channel.
The two teenagers would be
I hate
involved in
everything
a
about this.
tumultuous public relationship from late 2017
about
all
this
the way
story.
into 2020,
And the fact that it's a
combining their
massive thing
brands and
online, too.
milking their on and off Zodi ship for every dime it was worth, which was honestly a
God.
pretty genius racket. They went on tour
Zodi.
together, sold merch of their relationship, even hitting 200,000 streams on a song they made.
Your love is so hard to lose. I can't stop thinking of you. Yeah, thinking of you. What did I get us into?
I was hoping the song would just be horrible so I could make fun of it, but honestly,
just sounds like
it's
very
not
highly
near as bad as
manufactured
what some
pop.
YouTubers put out.
My teachers never taught me that. How to deal with this or that. How to make my paper stack. How to get a DM back. How to buy a Lambo cash.
My teachers never told me that.
But Cody and Zoe were most prolific on their joint channel, Cody and Zoe, where they mostly did couple challenges and prank videos.
Basically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pretending I'm
TikTok
talking to
album
another
when?
child.
I don't know. I gotta choose a target, I guess.
Dude, how's Josh?
It's Kyra. I just think
I literally just saw the contact.
I know, but
How are you gonna lie?
I mean, it's just all fake. The J Station clickbait approach at its finest. Beautiful. Though they'd pull an average of around 1 million views with each of these, sprinkling in random Q&As and relationship
Just the game
updates
is the game.
that varied with authenticity. I mean, looking back on all of these now, it's hard for me to say how much of it was exaggerated for clickbait purposes.
Anything else you want to say?
So we love you, and we're sorry that if you did get to experience this, we're sorry we hurt you.
It kind of sucks. It just feels like
Made you guys cry because of this. We never intended
the
to do that. We never
incentivization
intended
of
to do
YouTube and the algorithm combined with what it
These
is to
were
be a
two
teenager and
high-profile
the teenager
TikTok creators
experience.
capitalizing on every aspect of the relationship in order
Quartering
to create
diss track, it's been a
community
long
and make
time
money,
coming.
which is great, but sometimes that
First we have to
inherent
pick a
invasion of
genre.
privacy is going to lead to hardship.
For some reason, when me and Zoe would
It
fight
has
on
to
social
feature a
media
lot
and
of
we get
theremin.
out and we push our real feelings away for each other, our relationship got worse. And that is why social media destroyed our relationship.
For Zoe, every minor conflict was then turned into content, making their personal relationship struggles the business of thousands of Zoe stans, regardless of how legitimate that drama may have been. One day they would insist everything was fine, the next they were taking a break. The break would last a week, they'd get back together, then have another falling out. I mean, even now, it's incredibly hard to decipher what was real and what wasn't. But you better believe their audience was invested nevertheless.
I know you're going through a lot too, and I know you're getting a lot of hate, and I'm so sorry for that. This wasn't supposed to come out publicly, but Zoe told a few supporters, and they told everyone.
Wait, was that
Their first breakup was made public just weeks
out?
into March 2019, with the initial lack of an explanation leaving much room for speculation over what happened. It would then come to light that Zoe had in fact cheated on her boyfriend with another TikToker by the name of Drake Austin. Once
like that just reminded me that promise rings even exist. And our thing was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Man, it feels good not to be in high school.
A friend of Cody's. Guessing that must have changed when he made advances on his girlfriend, though.
Tell me, okay? I may have kissed you, which is the most disgusting thing I've ever done, and I will never do it again. Okay? Never do it again. That was the...
Nah, bothered boy, you do good work.
I mean, to get with me.
You will get the views. What is the views on this video? 2.9 million. 2.9 million.
Has tried to get with me so many times. Okay.
But the title of TikTok's biggest predator and the fact that it was, you know, a woman at the end of the day is what had me interested in this topic at all. The first breakup, I don't care. The second breakup, I don't care. Predator allegations, damage control. Okay, maybe I'll go to predator allegations. I don't really care about their relationship. That's the bulk of this entire video, which is 44 minutes, is about their relationship.
I don't know where this screenshot came from. I don't know if Amber actually sent it. I don't know if it's photoshopped.
It was revealed that Amber had apparently written Cody about her ex-best friend and why she finally deserted her over an ever-growing relationship between Zoe and a 13-year-old boy, whose identity will remain anonymous for the remainder of the...
But how old is she at the time? That's going to make that pretty crucial. Is it like she was 19 and he was 13? Was she 20 and he was 13? Is she 16 and he's 13?
This video. Amber, citing Zoe's intense interactions with the child as pedophilia, went on to say that she had warned her of continuing contact with him, insisting that she'll look back on this relationship later in life as molestation, citing the significant age gap of 19 and 13.
Okay, yeah,
she says that the child has no way of properly understanding.
Yeah, no, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Like, and it's just like, if a dude was 19 and he was fucking a 13-year-old, every single one of you would be aghast. Okay, so that's fucked up. That's just 100% fucked up.
What's happening to him, as he's already apologized to her on multiple occasions, and that it's only a matter of time before the news breaks and everything in Zoe's life comes crashing down. That was a lot, and that's only me paraphrasing. If you want to read the whole thing, it's right here.
She was 19,
and it's really,
he was 13.
really bad. But you know what absolutely could not make the situation better in any way, shape, or form? Responding with the child on a live stream that very same day.
Stop the rumors. Stop spreading things that aren't true. It's ridiculous. And
Learn to spread love and not hatred.
So right here,
why would you? Fucking TikTokers, what is wrong with you? Well, you've been credibly accused of sleeping with a 13-year-old as a 19-year-old. It's like, oh no, I got this. Hey, live stream time, and I'll bring him on too.
To record straight that despite some of the controversies of her past, she has never and would never do anything inappropriate with a 13-year-old minor.
my fucking career is set on minors. I have little kids that look up to me on a daily basis.
She knows better, and she's telling the truth. Because at the time of her recording this, there was no way to prove her wrong. Until 3 days later when this leaked. Video evidence of 19-year-old Zoe Laverne kissing a 13-year-old boy was released just days after she said this.
Yes, maybe I make some mistakes sometimes. Maybe I do some things on social media that's not very appropriate, but I wouldn't do something like that. Ever. It makes me sick that people would think that I would do something like that.
She is absolutely lying her ass off throughout this entire 18 minutes because at the time, there was no evidence to prove the contrary. And she thought she could get away with making herself the victim because, as we all know, everybody hates Zoe Laverne.
But it's because the reason why people
I
believe
had no idea who they were.
is
I was in a
because
better place for that too. I was a happier man
to every
not
single
knowing who
person
this
online.
was.
I am always a target to everything I do. Just like Zoe said the C slur, okay? The C slur.
The poor girl who groomed and at the very least made out with a 13-year-old child on
like
multiple occasions,
white people,
just to be
or?
clear.
Me as a 19-year-old girl should
Or the
not
one
have
that's
to
very
go,
popular
and
in
him as a
Britain.
13-year-old boy should not have to go through this situation at all. This is destroying mental health.
Yeah, that's right. He should not have to go through any of this. He did nothing wrong. He was taken advantage of by the actual adult in this situation. You, Zoe. And it's not like her mother is helping much either.
Shut it off.
She wants to say hi to her fans. Say hi to them, Zoe.
Hi, guys.
And don't believe everything you hear.
Anybody can reach over and kiss somebody. They're best friends, and this needs to stop, you guys. Why are you doing this?
It just happened. We both were in a dark place when we first
yeah, the slur for
became
Chinese
friends,
people.
and
Maybe.
we both just ended up catching feelings for each other. And friends do that; they catch feelings for each other. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, feelings develop between friends. You're right about that. And it's usually not an issue because most of us aren't friends with children 7 years our junior. What the fuck, man? We are talking about Zoe, who's old enough to be a sophomore in college, admitting to catching feelings for an 8th grader, a child in middle school. For perspective, this is a video the child made in late 2018, at the time Zoe would have been a senior in high school.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing Never Have I Ever. And if I'm like falling back and forth, I'm sitting on a broken stool with only 2 legs. Anyways.
Oh man, this is big old yikes.
One, okay, is an extremely young-looking 11-year-old kid opening AirPods in the back of his mom's car, and the other is accompanying her adult boyfriend to get a tattoo. You'd be hard-pressed to justify why a 13-year-old and a 19-year-old are hanging out to begin with. I mean, what do you even have in common at that point? Zoe may have the mental capacity of a first grader, but that doesn't give her the right to date one, does it?
Hi everyone. There was no interactions between me and Zoe. I don't know where that was coming from. I don't know if the texts were photoshopped.
Yeah, I don't think 11-year-olds should be vlogging.
I mean, the fact that this child is having to take the time to publicly apologize and lie on behalf of Zoe is depressing. It's not his fault.
Like, honestly, I'd have to look at studies as to what age is the age that is going to be the least impactful on the future mental health of, like, you know, children to young adults to adults in terms of their exposure to this kind of stuff. But, like, I don't want 11-year-olds blowing up on YouTube and having to deal with all of the pressure that comes with that, like logging on and seeing thousands of strangers talking about them. Like, I don't think that's healthy for an 11-year-old. It's not healthy for a fucking 30-year-old, like, let alone a kid who's still like figuring the world out. Like 11 is so young.
He isn't able to see what's wrong here. I can't imagine the immense stress he's been subjected to as a result of Zoe's predatory actions. And now, to add insult to injury, he's been pressured into defending and protecting the woman who is putting him through all of this unnecessary grief to begin with. He doesn't deserve it, and he's done nothing wrong.
What truly happened in the situation was that it was a mix of confusion, and that's no excuse to justify both me nor Zoe's actions, but that's just the honest truth. And we truly weren't thinking.
It seems like he's been convinced he's messed up in some way, or that he's made a mistake somewhere. When let's just be as honest as possible, when you're 13, you don't always know right from wrong. You just don't understand why a relationship with someone in college is wrong and predatory. I know it's a tired argument, but if the roles were reversed and this were a 19-year-old guy going after a 13-year-old girl, I don't think it would be so easily shrugged off by a fan.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, 100%. I mean, trust me, there's a lot of double standards that go down, but that's a very strange trope where America and American media seems to think it's actually something to be, like, worded as being sexy. It's like, hey, another super hot teacher got with a kid. It's like, oh, gross, that's disgusting. It's like, well, did I tell you that the teacher's a woman and the kid's a little boy? And it's like, oh, wow, then he's living the dream. Cool, nice.
Base. Zoe would not be able to move on so easily. In fact, she'd probably lose her entire account. This 13-year-old child should not be facing any level of backlash for the actions of Zoe, and the fact that he seems to believe otherwise is just heartbreaking to me.
Yeah, we weren't thinking, we were making bad choices.
Nah, you got taken advantage of by an adult. It's the adult's fault.
And weren't thinking of the downfall of all of this.
The adult's
all
the
of the evidence presented so far would suggest that Zoe groomed a child, but her subsequent behavior tells me she either doesn't realize it, or worse, doesn't care.
It's Christmas! Have some spirit! Stop being so rude!
Now, this stream, this is where Zoe attempts to redeem herself in the eye of the public who has largely decided her fate already by the looks of all the T-channels jumping down her throat. Oh, and also mainstream media coverage. Shockingly enough, people don't take very kindly to self-admitted child groomers. Sorry, not entirely self-admitted.
Did you actually groom? No. Please look up what grooming is, and please stop coming to my life calling me that. Yes, he's a minor. 13 and 19 is illegal, yes. but the police were already involved.
This is the interesting thing about Zoe. After passionately lying through her teeth, she'll sort of half apologize, half acknowledge what happened once the knives get close to her
Sure,
throat.
it's illegal.
Although Zoe admits the kissing video is real, and she had developed feelings for
What
the
does that even mean? Is it kind of like, oh, don't worry, the police know about this one and they're fine with it. They're already involved. They've been tipped off.
child in question, there was no grooming involved, she says. She apologizes for messing up the same way she would any other controversy, but fails to accept that this one is far different than any other scandal she's been involved in. This is something that could carry significant legal ramifications, especially if more proof were to ever come out regarding the nature of the relationship. This is serious stuff,
and then
a
she had
simple half
physical. Then
apology
she
just
assaulted the
isn't going to
child.
cut it this
She both
time.
groomed
Yes,
and
this
assaulted the
is
child.
a bad thing. Yes, it's wrong. Yes, it's not good. And we both realized that, and we stopped because we didn't want to get this out of proportion. We didn't want this to happen.
I love the choice of wording here, where she says, we didn't want this to happen. No, you just didn't want to get caught.
Like, yes, I realize that I did it. I'm not saying that I didn't do anything wrong, because I know I did something wrong, and I know it was wrong. Their decisions, not mistakes. Okay. All right, you're probably like 5. So let me explain to you something really quickly. Mistakes made by decisions you make. Okay.
Zoe then uses the victim's testimony to her own advantage.
No one groomed anyone. Even told you guys that that didn't happen, yet you still use that.
Which is a little manipulative, because I'm sure he's still very much emotionally attached to Zoe at this point and wouldn't want to throw her under the bus when she's already being hit from every other direction. Children who have been victims of grooming obviously don't recognize it until much later. The realization hasn't hit yet, and Zoe is capitalizing on that to strengthen her argument.
It's bothering the both of us because he doesn't like people calling me a pedophile. Like, I know he doesn't. Even though I can't talk to him, I know it's hurting him. And I don't have communication right now due to our parents both agreeing to cut our contact.
Yeah, they don't talk.
I feel like you don't know what these words mean. I feel like you have no. I feel like, see, this is also a problem with becoming, I guess, obscenely famous at 16 and becoming one of the world's largest TikTok like stars. Is that like I think like it pushes reality far, far away from any grounded sense. Like, no, you're a pedophile by I'd say most definition.
Like anymore, she says as she comments on his posts, sticks pictures of him in her phone case, and maybe even shares a Bond bracelet with him. I mean, who fucking knows? The fact that we don't know says a lot about this entire situation.
Oh my god, you just...
Brody, what the hell? Anyways, you get the point. You get the point.
Zoe is used to having everything in life handed to her, and she's—
well, yeah, in Canada, 19's an adult. It's not in America, right? Aren't you legally an adult when you're 21? Or is it like 18 you can do the military and porn, and then 21 you can drink alcohol? And cigarettes? Are cigarettes attached to that too? It's 18 in America. Living in America, go kill for your country, but don't you drink that beer.
Always been able to climb out of public dramas relatively unscathed thanks to the reputation she's given herself. But she doesn't realize that this is different, and she's going to have to reevaluate her so-called apology if she ever wants to salvage what's left of her broken legacy in the future.
You guys like genuinely like do not know your facts. Like you think you do because you like listen to YouTube videos and all these accounts, but like you don't even know what actually happened.
Zoe says that the public doesn't know everything about their relationship, but here's the thing. We don't really need to know everything to understand that an age gap of 19 and 13 doesn't fucking work.
We don't live in that house, obviously, but what we have seen is enough to determine that it was inappropriate. A 19-year-old kissing a 13-year-old, having whatever kind of romantic relationship, as she labeled it, it's open and closed. Like, it's not more complicated than that. It's one of those things that really don't have a gray for me. It's pretty black and white.
She's not wrong when she says there are a lot of details to this relationship that we're just never gonna know. But that doesn't mean she shouldn't be condemned for what we do know. Because what Zoe has done is immoral at best and illegal at worst. One party is 20 and the other is barely out of fucking diapers. And I think Zoe has finally been forced to come to terms with that in the months since, even if her content may not reflect it.
Y'all wanted an apology from me, and when I do, you're still upset?
I mean, we're already deep into the trenches of super fucked up shit, so I'm sure this won't come as a massive change of pace, but I'm sure everyone has heard about the stolen fetuses story that happened. It turns out that the person, the owner of the house where the lady was storing the stolen fetuses is a former Clarence Thomas clerk. Yeah. So that's the Federalist Society member and partner. That's an interesting development. Huh. World is weird. You know, we started the day with so much good news. I was like, first unionization ever. Pope has officially apologized to Indigenous people in Canada for the residential school system. Like, there's some pretty cool stuff going on. And then by the end of it, it's like, so here's a famous TikTok star who's also a pedophile. And did you know the storing fetus lady may have also been a clerk for Justice Clarence Thomas? You're like,
I get it, I do, but make up your mind, please. Zoe, I think we made our mind up a long time ago.
Seems she's done everything in her power to deflect and move on since these headlines first came out, making light of the situation on social media because that's all she knows how to do. Zoe knows that the best way to sweep a scandal under the rug is by creating newer, less egregious ones for the public to distract themselves with, spinning the negative press into something like, oh, you know, a pregnancy scare.
I shouldn't even say this, but I might be pregnant right now. I'm trying to fight right now.
Can't imagine anything more responsible than spouting off that you might be pregnant just mere weeks after everyone accused you of preying on a 13-year-old boy. That's how you get titles like this, or this, continuing the cycle of Zoe Laverne's apparent business model. A professional victim who capitalizes on a scandalous reputation to get away with anything she wants, which is evidently not limited to taking advantage of children.
Be myself again, and there is one thing that I'm not gonna do, and that is let you all tear me down. Because that is something that I have always...
All right, well, you're disgusting. Let's normalize finding women pedophiles as disgusting as male pedophiles. That'll be the true unlocking of feminism in our time. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free. Just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we are prepared to conduct many a human sacrifices in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble yet incompetent jesters, trying in vain to bring some levity into your life. To our lord, Trevor R., we give you thanks for this meager plot of land for us to toil away our pathetic existence. To our brave knights, Carl Wauer, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Mayred, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruben Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Nate, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Jenna Tal, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojak, Saren 42, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Agent NDN, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We salute our mighty heroes off to conquest some bread in some far-off land.